on the screen recording so that we can get this recorded for those who cannot access today's presentation live. So I'm recording it. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So you all should have access, hopefully, to this presentation right now. You can access it today at tinyurl.com/MS-Teams with an S EBR. Type that in. You'll have access to today's presentation. This is how you can access it for future references. Please, please, please mute yourself to avoid any noise feedback. That will help us out so much. If you cannot hear what I'm saying right now, you're freaking out and you're probably typing in the chat, I cannot hear, there is a link right here. Even though you can't hear me right now, there's a link right there that says still cannot hear, need help. It is a speaker issue on your side. You'll have to turn on something on your side. Also, like Mrs. Kuiper said, please do not use the chat feature. Right now, there's a small chat glitch going on, so we cannot post questions on our side or answer questions, and I can't even see questions. So at the end of the training, at the very, very end, we will open the floor for you guys to unmute yourself when that time comes to ask any clarifying questions. So let's go ahead and jump into today's training. So who are your trainers? My name is Sahara Haney. I am an instructional specialist with the Technology Integration Department. And I am co-presenting with my amazing director. She can go ahead and introduce herself as well.
Okay, I'm Carla Kuiper, Director of Tech Integration, and I'm just really excited to be here with you today and to share this powerful new resource with you. So we're going to go ahead and take it away, and I'm going to go ahead and Ms. Haney is going to start talking with you about Microsoft Teams.
All right, so on this slide number 2, we have a link to a document. So if you click on that document, you guys, it has all of the links to some additional trainings that we're offering starting tomorrow. We know that there has been, for whatever reason, different links being sent out from principals to school staff. Please, please, please use this document now. Kind of refrain from using any emails that were sent out because they have multiple links in them. And we have some folks going to incorrect links. So use this document. Feel free to share it to your school sites. As we see the need, we're going to continue to add more and more trainings about Microsoft Teams. It will all live on this document. So this is a living document. I'll continue adding more trainings and links and dates and times as time continues to continue through this entire Corona debacle that is happening right now. Going back to the presentation, let's go ahead and jump into all about Teams. So I'm sure you guys are wondering, what the heck are Teams? So I want you guys to kind of reflect on this question. What are the main ways that you currently communicate or collaborate with your school staff, if you are an administrator, or your students? So I'm pretty sure most of you guys, if you're a classroom teacher, you may use Classroom from Google or your Drive. If you're a school staff, if you're an admin, you may use just plain old email, or you may also use Classroom as well. The awesome thing about Microsoft Teams is it allows you to streamline all these apps into one area. So I know that we are using multiple things whenever we were in the face-to-face classroom, but due to the circumstances going on right now, we wanted to give you guys an alternative that kind of helps streamline this entire process. We know it's a lot of things going on. Different resources that you guys are using, like Zoom or Google Meets, to virtually chat with your students. Instead of using these various items, Microsoft Teams does all of that in one place for you. So we're going to go ahead and delve into this. So what is the value of using Microsoft Teams? So it allows us to facilitate collaboration and communication with our members. It allows educators to collaborate and share with each other. It keeps all of those files that we currently are using or accessing organized in one single place. And it reduces the amount of time spent looking for files, emails, and other messages. So getting started. So I'm sure this homepage that is currently on your screen is pretty familiar. If you access your EBR email on a frequent basis, this home screen is something that you guys probably know about. So on this home screen, we typically may click the Outlook button to access our email, but I'm pretty sure you guys may or may not have ever noticed this Teams icon. So Teams is a Microsoft app that we have access to. So to access it, go to your email basically, and the app is right there. Click on that, and you're going to use your EBR credentials to log in and to access the app. Once you're in the app, you will see this dashboard homepage. I like to kind of compare this dashboard homepage to the Google Classroom homepage. So if you are currently a Google Classroom Pro or user, you know that when you first get into Google Classroom, you see your dashboard with all of the classrooms that either you are a student in or that you own yourself. It's the exact same style in Microsoft Teams. So when I first log into Microsoft Teams, I see my user dashboard. I see all of the teams that I am currently a part of as a member or that I have created myself. Maybe I want to create or join a team from scratch right now. In the right-hand corner, I have a button that says join or create team. When I click on that button, it allows me to create a team from scratch, or using someone's code, I can join their team myself. So when you click on that little button right there, you get this dialog box that pops up. So maybe you are a student and you would like to join your teacher's team. Your teacher will give you a code, and then you would just simply either copy and paste or type that code right there, and it will join you into that team. Maybe you're a teacher and you want to create your team from scratch right now. Where it says create team, you'll click that create team button, and you'll go ahead and start creating all of the things needed for your team. So let's go the create team route. If I click the create team button, this little window pops up. Microsoft gives you 4 options of a team type. You have classes, PLC, staff, and other. So as a user or as the creator of this team, I need to stop and ask myself, okay, Sahara, which kind of team do you want to create for your students or for your school staff if you're an administrator? If you are a classroom teacher, of course, you should definitely do the class team type. If you are a dean or maybe the AP or principal of your school site, you should use PLC or staff. The reason why I'm saying to be mindful of this is because once you choose a team type, you cannot revert it to something else. You will have to delete the entire team and start from scratch. Secondly, the reason why this is very important is because if you choose staff, you will not have access to the assignments features that are only found in class. You have a little button, the button will be there, but the button will be empty. You won't be able to do anything with that button in staff or PLCs. So if you want to have the capabilities to create an assignment or a quiz for your students, you're gonna want to make sure to choose class. So just be mindful of that. Once you choose it the first time, you cannot revert it or change it or switch it around to another team type. You have to delete that team and start from scratch. Once you choose your team type, this window will open up for you. It's going to ask you to name and describe your class or your team. This is similar to Google Classroom. Whenever you create your team or your classroom, I should say, for the first time in Google Classroom, it requests you to type in your name and describe it with the section and the subject and all of that. Same kind of idea here. Now, if you are creating a staff or a PLC type of team, they give you an extra option, which are the privacy rights. With the privacy rights, this allows you to kind of lock down your team a little bit more. So you get 2 options for privacy. You get private and you get public. Private means only you, the team creator and owner, can add members via their email address or the code. If it's public, that means anyone in EBR can find and join your team. If you are a classroom teacher and you decide to create a class team, those privacy options are not there because the class team is automatically made private. So you will not see this little option right here. So don't freak out if you don't see it. If you're creating a class type that is a class team type that is class, you're going to want to make sure that it's not there. If you see it, you're in a correct team type. Class does not receive the privacy options. It is automatically private. If you're an administrator and you're creating a staff or PLC team, you have the option to make it private or public. Once you name your team, provide a description if you would like to, you will hit next, and you can now start adding people to your team. Now, there are 2 ways to add members to your team, either via code or typing them in manually. If you are a classroom teacher, I do not recommend typing anyone's email address in manually. Simply provide the code to your students. If you're an administrator, you can, of course, give them the code or type it in manually. It's up to you. Now, I'm going to skip this part right here because I'm not going to type in anyone's name. The next area is your home page for your team. So once you have bypassed all of those kind of introduction questions and names and details, you will be brought to your home page. Your home page is fairly easy to maneuver. We'll delve into that a little bit more in a second. But when you're on your home page, in order to access your code, you have a few extra steps. So if you are a Google Classroom user or a pro, you know that when you first log into Google Classroom, that code is sitting right there for you to see. On Microsoft Teams, however, it's a little hidden. You have to click on a few extra things to access it. So to access your code and to enable it, you must go to your class settings, click Manage Team, and then you will be under your settings. You go straight down to team code and generate your code. So you must turn on your code in order to share it with anyone. Once you turn it on, you'll be able to copy it and put it into a newsletter or send it through Reminds or Class Dojo, however you communicate with your parents and with your students. Okay, so remember there are two ways to add members to your team. Either you can add them manually by email if you're a school administrator, or give them the code and they can join themselves. Now, once you have all your members into your team, you're going to go back to your dashboard and you will see all of these buttons and features for you to select on, or to click on, I should say. Do not get overwhelmed because there are a lot of buttons. So just kind of take your time. We're going to talk about a few of the important buttons that we want you guys to kind of dabble with and play with and learn about. But as time progresses, make sure you guys mute yourself, please, that we don't have any feedback. Thank you. So as time progresses, you'll get more and more comfortable with all of the features in Microsoft Teams. On the home page, one of my favorite features is the private messenger button. When I click that private messenger button, it allows me to chat one-on-one either with a student or a group of students. Let me meet everyone. Okay, there we go. I muted myself also with everyone else. Okay, so going back to the presentation. So the private messenger is really cool because, let me go back. There we go. I'm able to communicate with one member or a group of members. So on your home dashboard, it kind of is. You guys, can you make sure that you're muted? Let me see who I need to mute. Let me see. Give me 1 second, you guys.
I'm just muting anyone who doesn't have their microphone muted because we're getting some feedback and that's causing other participants to type in the chat box that they can't hear.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Kuiper.
Okay.
All right, so going back to your team dashboard, I like to compare the team dashboard to a Facebook wall. So you know that if you have a Facebook account and you log in for the first time, you will see your posts, your friends' posts, what they shared, etc. So if you want a message to go out to your entire school staff or your entire classroom, you're going to want to post it on your wall right here. So you'll go right here where it says start a new conversation. On the flip side, however, if you want to just send a private message to maybe a few students or one specific child, you'll go to your private messenger and type in that child's name and then talk to them privately. So just be mindful of that. You have an option to view all of your files. So instead of having to go to your drive or go to your email or go to your flash drive and find a specific document, anytime you upload a document to your team, it lives underneath your files tab. So all of your files are in one spot. You can also have a class or a team calendar. So all of your dates, assignments, quizzes, enrichment activities, one-on-one tutoring, whatever you want to call it, all that can live on your calendar. If you have a class type of team, you're able to create assignments. And then you can also start conversations with your entire team or initiate virtual and video calls with your entire team. Mrs. Kuiper will talk more about channels in a second, but you can also create channels which are like sub teams within your teams. So, for example, if you are a classroom teacher, you can have sub channels with different students in those channels to help differentiate assignments. Or if you're a school administrator and you want to have a channel, different channels for your different grade levels or content bands, you can also do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to Mrs. Kuiper so she can talk about channels and the other features in Microsoft Teams.
All right. Okay, so you may be wondering about channels and what do those mean. If you're in the program live right now, if you go into a Microsoft team, or if you create a Microsoft team and go into it, you'll be able to click the three dots next to the name of the team and then manage where you see underneath manage team, you'll be able to add a channel. Now, if you're wondering about what a channel really is, it's a sub team within your main team. You can create multiple Microsoft teams just like you can create multiple classrooms, but you can also create subdivisions within a Microsoft team. So for example, if you have a grade level team, you could set up channels for different content. You could set up different content departments, class blocks, leadership teams. Some school leaders set up channels within a staff team for things like the PBIS team or the school improvement team or the fundraising team. So they're just different ways that you can set up access within one Microsoft team. You can create public channels or private channels. Keep in mind that when you create a public channel, the public channel is available to everyone who's a member of that team. On the other hand, a private channel is set up so that it's only accessible to the people who are added to that private channel. So if you have a school improvement team set up only with 4 people, you don't have to open that channel up to everyone in the team. The next slide shows how the channel dashboard and all the messages and announcements for a specific channel can be found there. And the next one shows how, for example, within one grade level or one team, you could have an ELA team. So you could break out by content and do that by creating a channel. Typing in a message or a post in the channel is as simple as typing in the box that's at the bottom of the screen. You can add attachments to a channel. These can come from your computer, your storage, your Google Drive, your OneDrive, your Dropbox, or anything that you connect to your computer or your device. You can also add fonts, emojis, GIFs, and stickers, praise. Those will kind of make things more fun and interesting. You also notice that you have the opportunity to initiate a video conference or a video call. Now, that I think is a feature that teachers are going to like a whole lot because it'll allow you to initiate a call with colleagues. You'll be able to call peers. You'll be able to call, set up office hours for students. You'll also be able to set up quick meetings in between buildings and between schools. Every channel in a team also has an area for files to live. So any files uploaded to the team lives under the Files tab. As you can see the example here of the PDF. You can collaborate with documents in real time, and that's what it's really about. It's about, this app is all about bringing people together and allowing them to work together collaboratively. Again, you can create files from a variety of different resources. You can go from Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and more. The team calendar, as Ms. Haney mentioned a little while ago, is integrated with Office 365. You'll see multiple controls for it. If you click the team calendar icon on the left side, you'll be able to see immediately that it's integrated in with your Office 365 calendar. So the invitations that you've accepted, you'll see them on your team calendar, and events that you've created, you'll see those on your team calendar as well. You can create a team event inside from within Teams, and this is just as simple as clicking the new meeting button at the top right. When you click that button, you'll see that creating an event You just click the button and then you type in all the same details that you do when you create an event in your calendar. There's also a private messaging feature. You can click the chat, or you can go to the pencil in the square at the top. And then if you just type in the name of an email or a contact, you can even tag documents. We're not going to get into that on this presentation, but the main ways that you would use the chat would be to type in a name or an email and then send a message to a specific person. Team assignments go with the specific team type that's a class. So anytime that you create a space for students, you may want to select the class type. This will make sure that you have access to be able to post assignments for students. And in the next slide, you'll see that there are two specific options for assignments. You can create a traditional assignment, you can also create a quiz, and you can create a repost as well. In the assignment feature, once again, it's showing you those two different options that you have. And here are the things that you can add, the details that you can add to a new assignment. So title, instructions, points, you can grade assignments, you can grade from points, you can grade from a rubric. If you have a rubric that you're using with students, you can assign to all students or to a subset or subgroup of your students. And you can also set a due date and a time due. So all of these options should look pretty familiar. They're the same ones that we have available to us in Google Classroom. Okay, we've done a lot of talking at this point. So what I'd like to do is give you an opportunity to take a breath, think about all the things you've just seen and all the features that we've been talking about, and gather the questions that you have. And if you're able to access the chat, then you would be able to type those in. And if not, we'll allow you to unmute and then ask those questions using your audio or your video. Another thing that you might do, if you don't have any specific questions at this point, but you're just wanting to get your hands on and do a little bit more, we have an on your own activity where you can create a team. And in that activity, let me put that presentation slide back up. You can either create a to-do list, challenge. So create and name a team, invite your faculty and staff, post a comment that welcomes everyone. Or if you're beyond that and you want to do something a little bit more, you can challenge yourself by mentioning a specific person in your team. You can upload a file, insert a picture, add an app to the channel, and create additional channels. Okay. Again, if right now you're still trying to figure out what is this and what am I going to do with it and how am I going to integrate it into the things that I'm already doing or that I was doing prior to the COVID-19 closure, then you may just want to stick around and ask some questions and or stay around for the Q&A portion. So what I'm going to do is stop talking at this point. I'm going to release the screen and we'll gather questions from you all.
And feel free to unmute yourself because I know I can't see the chat, so unmute yourself.
Right. If the chat's not, the chat may not be working for you. So
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I kind of missed the beginning part of it, so I'm still kind of confused. So will you guys email this PowerPoint to us so that we can kind of go back and look at it over it ourselves?
Yes, and look, I'm gonna show you the presentations URL. So let me share my screen right now. And if you just write that down, you'll have access to the presentation. So it should pop up right now. So right here where it says you can access the presentation, that's the URL right there for you.
Okay.
Can you give me a second? I need to put a pencil.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there an advantage or disadvantage to making more teams?
Creating more teams versus a channel, you mean? Or
but you know how you said you can make subgroups?
Right.
So in teams, so it's not necessarily which is better because they're the same thing. You're just creating additional channels in your team. So if you're a classroom teacher, you may want to have group work or have certain students receive different activities or assignments, you're gonna maybe want to create channels so that you can assign different students in those channels. Or if you are a school leader, you may want to create multiple channels and have your your staff join via their grade level or content bands. So channels are within teams. They're not separate from teams. So teams are like your overarching umbrella, and inside of your team, you can have multiple channels inside of your team.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I teach kindergarten. So is it possible for me to go to other sites and get songs and stories that they can use?
Definitely, yeah. So you can copy and paste any URL or website and post it into your team. So for example, let's say I'm going to go to one of my teams and maybe I have a team, I'm going to go to this class. And I found this really cool website. So I'm going to just Google a kindergarten song.
Okay.
And it's a video because I want them to watch it. So I'm going to go to YouTube, find this little cute video, and I'm going to copy and paste the website address. I'm going to go back to my team and then just simply in the bottom where it says start a new conversation, copy and paste it and then hit enter. And they now have a link to that video or that activity that you want them to do. Now for you, because you teach kindergarten, it's going to look a lot different. You won't post as many detailed themes for them.
Right.
For like the older kids, you can post attachments, documents, etc. But for you may want to just maybe only post a PDF of a story or a video, or maybe just a video of you reading a story out loud is also an option.
That'd be cool.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I have a question.
Ooh, so many questions. So I think I heard a male's voice. I'm not sure.
Mr. Esteban.
Yes. Can you go ahead and give me your question?
Yeah, I'm teaching physics. So basically my team would be physics and the channels would be the 4 classes that I'm handling.
Yes. So I recommend teachers create one team so that you're not having to jump across 35 teams. Create one team and you can create different channels of your blocks within that one team. So then if you have one general announcement for all of your kids, you can just post on your normal wall. But if you have an announcement for your second block, go to your second block channel and you can post it in that specific channel.
Now, how will I add my students for each class or channel?
So when you're in your team, I have been telling everyone, for teachers specifically, it is the easiest to just give them the code and have them join as if they're joining your Google Classroom. It's the same kind of setup. So in your classroom, and this is in the slide deck as well, but in your team, next to the team name, there are 3 dots. You'll click those 3 dots and then go to Manage Team. Click that, and then you're going to have to toggle over to where it says Settings. Click Settings, and right smack dab in the middle of the screen, it says Team Code. Click that, and then you're going to have to generate, or you have your code already there ready to go. So if you're a first-time user, oh man, I'm sorry, everyone got that same emergency alert at the same time. I'm sorry. All right, there we go. Sorry, you guys. If this is your first time accessing your code, you're going to have to generate your code and then just simply give that code to your students and then they can join. IT has pushed out the website for Microsoft Teams to all of the students, and we're going to place it in Clever as well for easy access.
Well, how will I separate? They will be getting the same code, right? A team code. How will I separate my students into different channels?
So you have to, let's mute ourselves unless we're talking, you guys. So you have to first add them to your main team, which is which you're going to give them the code. And then once you create your channel, you can now go to that channel and add those specific students out of your team into that channel. Do you understand?
Okay.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I had a question.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
My question is there a benefit to using, like, can this replace Google Classroom, or do we have to use both, or?
So no, so the reason why we're recommending using this is because some teachers are using Zoom and we don't have the security that we need to have with Zoom. So we're trying to just give you guys alternatives, and Microsoft Teams, we have access to that, and we have the security to monitor what's going on with Teams, and we can also video chat. So it's just another alternative that you guys can use.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I teach kindergarten, so they're young, they really don't know how to navigate and get around to do this. So will some of this have to be assisted with their parents so they can have the option to be able to view what we're doing with the students also too? Because I know that they have gotten learner friendly with computers, but not enough to be able to access a lot of this.
Our department only recommends 4th to 12th grade using this. Now, if you have some really tech savvy 3rd graders or 2nd graders, feel free. But this is definitely for the upper elementary and secondary students. You can still give, I know we're passing out the packets daily. You can still pass out, or if you can get to them, give out paper materials. So don't think that you're forced to use this for your kindergartners, because you are not.
All right, perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question. All right. Are we able to pull in our students from our class roles that currently exist in J Campus, since we're not able to communicate with the kids?
No, ma'am. So some people have found success with searching the student's name. So let me show you how it works. So let's say I'm in my class, my demo class, and I want to add members to my team. From my home page, where my little 3 dots are, if I click those 3 dots and I hit more options, I can hit add member. And like I said, some people have had awesome success with being able to search their student's name. So if I type in, I'm typing my sister's name. So see, hers did not pop up for whatever reason. But like I said, some teachers have said in earlier trainings that they had awesome success with searching their student's name. But no, ma'am, I don't recommend that because it's not 100% effective. I recommend giving the students the code and giving it to them either through Reminds 101, or if you do Class Dojo, or if you already have a Google Classroom set up, sticking it in there instead of searching for each student. Because that's the only way that we can add students right now. But they have access to it. So you can just type in, if you know their username, their EBR username / email, you can type that in as well and add them like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. Any other questions? These are some really good questions, you guys. I can't see the chat for whatever reason. It's blocking me from seeing the chat. So you're gonna have to unmute yourself, because I have no idea if there are any questions being asked right now in the chat.
Can we go ahead and start now?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Jump 2 feet in and start now. We have some principals that have already held their faculty meetings using this yesterday. We have some teachers that have started importing all of their kids into it. So yeah, start now as soon as you can.
Thank you.
No problem.
I was wondering, with creating just the one team for all my classes, how do I restrict it to certain blocks, to certain channels?
Yeah. So whenever you're in your team, so right now I have my main team. And let's say I wanted to, I'm going to add someone to my team. Hopefully they don't freak out like, what is this? I'm going to add Miss Kuiper to my team. So I'm going to add Miss Kuiper to my team. Okay. And let's say I have all of my 25 kids in my team. Once I leave out of there and I create my channel, I'm going to go and create a channel. I'm going to put first block as my name. I'm going to hit add. Once it's done adding, I can now go to that specific team settings and manage everyone that's in there. So when I hit manage, where is it? Okay, so let me go back, because I did the wrong one. Let me go back. Let me remove this team. So whenever you create a team, when you're not moving fast like I was just now, you have the option. Let me hit manage team.
I think
you have the option. Yeah. So let me do first. Right here where it says privacy, you have the option to only allow a specific group. Once you do that, you can now designate which students you want in that actual group, in that channel, I should say, not the group, in the channel. So then when I hit next, all of my students that are in that specific team, I can now separate them across my members. So you see how I can now add members to my first block channel?
Yes.
And then when they add, they have access, and only those students will have access to that channel. But all of my kids have access to my general channel, which is my main homepage.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. No problem.
Miss Haney.
Yes.
Is this replacing Google Classroom?
Not at all. This is just another tool that you guys can use. And because Google Classroom doesn't allow video chatting inside of the platform, and we know people are using Zoom, we wanted to just give you guys an alternative. And most principals are going to start using this for their faculty meetings. And just so we just kind of want to give y'all another platform to use. We're not telling y'all to not use Classroom at all, but if you want to use a video call function, it's already in Teams.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I have a question.
Yes.
Will this platform go on after this pandemic is?
If I had to say yes, so we've had access to it forever. It just no one was really using it. Some district departments were using it, but we didn't tell the teachers about it or school sites. So I'm sure we'll continue having it. Yes, ma'am, because we had it prior to this.
Okay, and access to the students as well?
So IT spent yesterday, the most part of yesterday, adding all of the students into the Outlook world. So they now have access to it. Now, will they continue having access to it? I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to speak ill on that, but I'm fairly confident yes, because hopefully this will not last forever, but we never know. So just to have everyone familiar with it, I'm sure we're going to continue having access to it. Students also.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I had a question. I'm a parent and a teacher. So how would my son know how to access this? Would it be on
the parent side or from the teacher side?
From the parent side.
Okay, so we're gonna put it in Clever. So all they have to do is just go to Clever, and when they log in through Clever, it will be already there on their dashboard. And then, of course, the teachers need to share the codes with the students. So when I was a classroom teacher, I used Reminds to give announcements out to my parents. So then as a teacher, I would send, hey, please join this team using this code. And they would simply go to the team, type in the code, and they have access to it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And also, I know this is not your question, but just to let you guys know, you can also add parents as guests to your team. To add them as a guest, simply go to your 3 dots next to your team's name, go to add a member, and then just type in their email address. They do not have to have a Microsoft email or actually have an EBR account to access the team. They will be coded as a guest under your accounts. So when you log into your system, you'll see all of your students and then your guests along with them. The guests do not have all of the same features as the members do. They won't be able to view the calendar, but they can see what you placed into your team feed.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I teach a subject, social studies, with another teacher. So together, we both teach all of the 3rd grade students.
Yes, you can add co-teachers or co-owners. You want to know how you can?
So we can both add the content?
Yes, ma'am. So let me show you how to add
our students separate as well.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
The last thing was, can we keep our students separate even though we have a shared channel?
So let's say let me go to my little class that I have. Okay.
Okay.
So I have
I'm finally in.
Awesome. So I have the class right here. And next to my title, I have my little 3 dots right there. If I click that and I click add member, I can type in a teacher.
Okay.
Make sure you mute yourself unless you're asking a question, please. And then once I add that teacher to my classroom, I already added her clearly. So yeah, once I add her, she will be under my members right here. And she has the same ownership that I would have. So you see right here where it says member on your screen next to Mrs. Kuiper's name, I can switch her to an owner. and make her be a co-owner with me. So then she now can create channels for herself. She can add students, add members, do the code, all of that. She, as a co-owner, can also have her own channels. So y'all can have y'all's main team, and then you can have your own channels with your students in it, and then she can have her own channel with her students in it as well.
Okay, but we can also share content.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So on your so the general channel is what everyone has. So that's like your home page.
okay.
So on your
All
home
right.
page, you'll put all your stuff on there. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, you guys?
I have one quick question.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thanks. I'm a pre-K teacher, and I would probably use this as kind of a Zoom meeting type thing. So where do I go first? Do I have to create a team?
Yes.
And then and then to connect everybody in one spot, and then I can make a video call with them?
Yes, ma'am. So once you create your team and you have your members loaded in your team, I'm going to go to my tab so you can see how it looks. So I can zoom in because I can't zoom in on this specific side.
I think you've showed us that. I just wanted to make sure that
It's okay. I don't mind answering the same question 15 times. I'm trying to support you guys because I know this is brand new. All right, so let me go to my teams. So at the bottom of your home page, let me zoom in some on my side, where you can post a little general conversation. There's a little button right there that says Meet Now. When I click that, I can now initiate a video call with whoever is a member in my current team. So you're going to want to first add all of your students into your team. Yes, ma'am. That's the first thing.
Okay. And then everybody will be able to see each other.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then also just be mindful, they don't have to have a camera. So don't tell them it's okay, because I know some kids are going to be like, well, I don't want to do it because I don't have a camera. The camera part is irrelevant. You cannot have a camera. I have a camera on my laptop, but I'm not having it shown. So the camera part is not important. They need to just have a microphone if you want them to talk, or just speakers to listen.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
No problem.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like I'm using a Google Classroom. So still I have to put the material and stuff here, or I can still use the Google Classroom?
You can. So we're not mandating anything. You can continue to use Google Classroom. We just would like you guys to have everything in one spot. We're trying to just make things easier for you guys. So if you want to continue using Google Classroom, that's perfectly fine. However, we are asking everyone to use Microsoft Teams as your video call function, because Zoom cannot be monitored and people are like hacking Zooms. So we want to just avoid all of that and have you guys use Teams to have your video calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I can't see the chat, so if you ask the question in the chat, just unmute yourself and ask it out loud if you don't mind.
Okay, I will just lock it out.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
About future trainings. You posted something at the very beginning, a list of future trainings.
Yes,
Where
ma'am.
will we be able to find those? You just click the link.
Yes, ma'am. So on the presentation for today, on the second slide, there's a little link right there. If you click need additional training, it takes you to this PDF with all the links. Now, this is a living document, so we'll continue adding links and adding trainings over the next couple of weeks. But this is here for you guys to use.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, can y'all double check and make sure? I have a friend who's trying to get in here. If you can give access to her.
Yes, ma'am. So just to let you know, after 250, it cuts off, so we can't let anyone else in. But right now, I may be able to have her add because we're at the end of the call. So let me see. Let me pull up my screen.
Okay.
All right. I just added someone, whoever was in. I think it was Sharon.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, no problem. So yeah, so let your friends and your coworkers know that if they cannot get into one of our meetings, it's because they have our max has been met. We cannot go past 250. It's just a default in the system. So they'll have to tune into another meeting, and we are recording them to provide for you guys. So, but we have multiple trainings, the same training 1,001 times for y'all. And if you want a more personalized training, reach out to me. I don't mind doing one-on-one, or tell your principal and they can reach out to me and we can do a school site specific training. Any other questions?
No, thanks.
If you're just joining, or if you missed the URL for the presentation, is right here on the screen. tinyurl.com/ms-teams with an SEBR.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to see more than 4 videos at a time?
Unfortunately, no. We have gotten that question so many times, and I understand wholeheartedly. So I did a little research, and Microsoft is working on it. However, it has not rolled out. But even when they work, like even whenever it's ready to go, it will only go up to 9. So they're not going to even go like past a small number. So yeah, no, ma'am. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I have noticed that whoever's talking are the forefront 4, and then everyone else who's muted or not saying anything, they won't show up on the board. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they'll fix it soon. I
know,
really be
especially with everyone being at home, we need something to use. So yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, previously on the screen, that's
yes.
showing right now. Are we going to get that into our inbox? Or
well, so if you just go to this website, you'll have access to it directly. But if you can't see that, I can definitely email it to you one-on-one.
That would be great, because I've been kicked out of this meeting twice already.
Yes, ma'am.
So and I heard that you said that you were going to put it recorded.
Yeah, so I'm recording this one. So this one, I will send it out to all of your principals just so y'all can have some access to it. But I can email you the presentation directly if you would like to. It'll be the link to the presentation, I should say.
Okay, and that's the link, the tinyurl.com?
Yes, ma'am. If you type that in, that is how you access the presentation forever and ever.
I'm going to actually take a picture if you'll just leave it there for another minute.
Sure, of course. I can make it larger. Let me zoom in some for you. All right, there you go. That should be a little larger for you.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, you're fine. And if you can't, for whatever reason, if you lose that picture or you forget what it was and you delete it by mistake, my email address, I'm going to go to that tab. Are you done taking a picture?
Yes, ma'am.
My email address is right here, sglasper1@EBR Schools. I'm here to support you guys. So please feel free to reach out with any question. There are not dumb questions. There are no dumb questions, I should say. So please feel free to reach out any questions that you guys have, and I'm here to support y'all.
Okay.
Any other questions, you guys?
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. How do you add students to the channel?
Yes. All right. So let me go to my team. So let's say I'm in my demo class, and so you first have to add members to your team first before you can add them to the channel. So you have to actually have members in your main team before you can even add anyone to your channel. Okay. So I want to say I have someone in this team. Let me make sure. I do. So I have Mrs. Kuiper. Let me switch her to a member. So I have a member in my team, Mrs. Kuiper. I'm going to go back to my home page for my team. I'm going to create a channel. So I'm going to go to add channel and then type in, I'm going to just say second block. And right here where it says privacy, you're going to want to toggle that over to private. So if you want only specific students to have access to this channel, you're going to want to make it private. If not, everyone in your entire team will have access to it. So when I make it private and I hit next, I can now add members from my team to my channel whenever it pops up. There we go. When I type in Mrs. Kuiper's name, I can now add her to my channel.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
No problem. These are good questions, you guys. Any other questions? All right. So if I don't have any more questions. I can't see the chat, just to let you guys know. So if you type anything in the chat, I can't see the chat. You're gonna have to unmute yourself and ask it out loud. But if there are no more questions, have an awesome rest of your night. Please be safe and stay healthy. And if you need any extra support, we are here to support you guys. Do not forget, on slide 2, we have the link to the additional trainings for you guys. So all of the Friday trainings are here, along with next week as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll probably have to attend on Friday because I missed most of it.
That's perfectly fine. Just be mindful. Get there early because it cuts off at 2:50. So get there as soon as.
Yes, I think that's what happened to me a few times.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
sorry.
I even tried to go in through Teams through my school. About 4 of us was on there, but I didn't see anything.
Yeah, and I know the principals, they received multiple links from us, so I think the links kind of got confusing after a while, because we had some people in old links from Tuesday and some people in links from this morning. So use this document that we share with you guys on the presentation as your link kind of home space for you to go and access.
So when I go there tomorrow, am I going to tinyurl.com/MST?
So that's for the presentation, only for the presentation. But on the second slide of the presentation, I have a link to where all of the other trainings are. When you go to that, we have links to each individual training as the time goes by.
Okay, is that the same email you sent me, like with the different days? Will I be to click that and still get into it?
Yes, ma'am. If this is what I sent you, I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just use that then.
Yes, and if not, just email me personally, and I could just send it to you myself.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
All righty.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Any other questions before we end the call?
Yeah, I had one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to display my screen and my face? My students are
yes.
Really
let me show you.
To see if they could see me and my screen.
So I won't show my face because I look horrible right now. But I will show you how it looks on my side. So let me make it larger. All right, so let's see. So typically when you're in a, let me get out of this app because this app is acting crazy. All right, so let me go to the call from my side today. And if you're using your phone or an iPad, no. But if you're on a desktop or a laptop, yes.
Yeah, I'm on my laptop.
Okay, so let me see if I can get it working.
Well, it was for my class.
Okay. So whenever I open it up, and I'm gonna go to join now. And since the chat feature is acting crazy, let me get out of that. So since the chat is kind of wonking out a little bit, it's not gonna show for me right now because I don't have access to the chat. It's not out of it as well. But let me go to one that I have access to, just so I can show you how it will look.
Okay.
Cancel, continue.
I really appreciate this.
No problem. And I know this is a very unique training situation, so thank you for being patient.
Sure. My students had to be patient with me today.
I think we're just all being patient together. So as you can see on my screen, on my right-hand side, I have my chat over there.
Lock us out, no, Kayla.
And then I have my main screen right here. So as I have people, like if I were talking and I had my camera showing, you would see me right there. And then I can have
on my cell phone. I finally got in.
What about when you share your
Tomorrow
screen?
I'm have to get on here like.
So when I share my screen, it will be the same exact thing. So let me see if I can go to it and show you.
So it would show your video?
Yes, ma'am. So let me see if I can get
automatic, because my kids said they couldn't see me.
No, you have to click the little share screen button. So let me show you how the share screen button looks. It looks a little different.
I was able to share my screen. They just said they couldn't see me when I did that.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying. They're not going to see you anymore after you share it. I get your question. Okay. I understand your question now. Yeah. So once you share your screen, you will no longer be visible. Your screen is now recording your screen your webcam is not recording your screen.
I see.
Yes, ma'am. So that's why you're no longer visible.
Microsoft Teams has some work to do.
They do, and that's why I'm pretty sure we went to Google instead of staying with Microsoft. But yes, they definitely.
I mean, I got to use Zoom a couple times, not with my students, but just to meet with other people, and I didn't have a lot of these issues.
You don't have to tell me on Zoom. I love some Zoom. Trust me, I understand. But I think the problem was we couldn't monitor
to safer
what was going on. Yeah, it was just so much going on with Zoom. So yeah.
Oh, I've never used it before.
Was Zoom or Microsoft Teams?
Zoom. Well, neither. This is my first time. I've seen Teams popping up on my laptop before, and I was wondering, I thought it was something the district was adding, but I've never used it before.
Yes, ma'am. So hopefully this thing, even though we're kind of forced to learn it right now, hopefully after school kind of gets back into the swing of things, we actually use it, because there are some great benefits to it, I will say.
Yeah, because my class just loved the technology, and I started my little website for Google. However, the kids really needed their own email account. So I would put some links there, but it was hard for me to actually say, okay, go in and practice this or do a test.
Yeah.
Because all the kids' answers would show up. It would stay there after somebody had already did the activity. So I'll just have to play around with it. But I was trying to learn that, the website part while we were in school.
What grade do you teach?
I'm second grade.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I've done all the grade levels before in EBR except for 4th and 5th.
Okay. So yeah. And with second graders, they are pretty tech savvy, but it may be a learning curve with them. So definitely be patient. And like I said, don't feel forced. You don't have to use this with your lower elementary students. You can kind of use a little bit of this and a little bit of that and some paper stuff. Don't feel forced. It's not a mandate. It's not required.
Okay, I have one question, please, before we go.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm into adding my second class now as we're talking. And I have one question I've got. When I'm in privacy, there's a command at the bottom that says automatically show this channel in everyone's channel list. Do I want to check that?
So it depends. So planning wise, in your mind, do you plan on adding only specific students to this channel or no?
It's just going to be like my 2A class.
So yeah,
on this particular channel.
So you're gonna want to specify. Let me go to this step so I can catch up with you. You're gonna want to specify and select private, because if you keep it standard to where everyone can access it, that means all 130 of your kids can access it. But you only want your 25 kids.
Okay. Right. Got you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I have one more question as well. So
yes.
Kind of like how we archive our Google Classrooms at the end of the year. Is there a way to do that?
Yes, ma'am. So on your on your team dashboard, you have your little 3 dots, and you're gonna click the 3 dots. Move my little thing up. I can. Oops, I went to the wrong thing. Sorry. I can delete this team. You can't necessarily archive it. It's either delete it or keep it. But you can hide it if you don't want to see it anymore. You can hide it.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Any other questions, you guys? Last call. All right. So if you guys have any questions, whenever maybe you're going to work on this for the next hour and you think of a question, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. My email address is right here on the screen. Let me make it large. It's s1@ebrschools.org. I'm very fast with email unless I'm in the middle of a training. So if you email me, I will get right back to you. If there's a little wait time, that's because I'm doing a training in the middle of the time. So just give me a second. But like I said, any questions, any support, any comments, concerns that y'all may have, email me, reach out, and I will be right there to provide support to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you. It's been very helpful, Ms. Haney.
That makes me happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.